And we're live now.
Hello everyone, we're back! And as you see, Patrick is playing the drums if you don't hear it. He's giving us a premiere performance. Welcome to the Blissful Blog with 3 people instead of 2 now. As you guys know, I'm Chris, you know Kelly, and we're introducing our 3rd writer who we are so happy to have and grateful to have, Ashley.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm really excited about that.
Hey guys.
Yay!
Okay.
Blissful. Sorry, I'm a nerd. We just recently, as you probably noticed, we got a 3rd writer, and the series has actually taken new breath and taken a new leaps and beyond what we even thought of. Ashley came in and she noticed things, and she was like, and she was like, this doesn't make sense with this, and this doesn't do this, and this, and this. And she helped us tremendously. It's always better to have 6 eyes than 4. So, she's come in and she's been awesome. And that's one thing we want to reiterate and say thank you for coming to the Blissful universe. And Kelly can also speak, and then we'll let Ashley talk.
Apparently I'm not going to speak. There's a baby in my face. Yes, getting a 3rd writer was very good. Ashley kind of came in and helped me and Chris nail down our 1st season and really impacted season 2, and she kind of created some of her new characters that we're going to talk about that we kind of always wanted to sit down, child. Come in into the blissful universe and kind of, I guess when we kind of started the show, it was always supposed to be a co-written series with a whole bunch of people. And so we went through a few different writers, and we kind of thought about Ashley since we'd all RPG'd together for years on end. And I guess one of the things that people have kind of asked me on Twitter is how it works. And it really does kind of work, I guess, like an RPG, is that we all get our voices in the storyline, we plan it out, and then instead of playing it out over, I guess, post, you'd play it out over episodes. Okay, no one cares. Patrick apparently likes this idea.
Thanks, Pat.
I know, he's so cute. And so one of the things that... Hey guys, yeah, okay. Patrick's really cute, by the way. He just likes to nap and not nap. So he's going to be our guest. Wow. Anyway.
I should stop fish facing, I'm sorry. I'm encouraging.
And so I like the fact that it's a completely different, uniquely written show opposed to the other web series that are out there. It's really more of a team effort with team members doing and contributing to each character and each scene. And that was kind of how Chris and I always wanted it to be. We really missed RPGing together when we came up with the idea for Blissful. And so we're just happy to have Ashley, and she's fun. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Ashley?
Yeah, literally Chris and Kelly approached me about the whole thing, and as some of you know, I was writing a series of my own called Valley of Angels. I had hit a snag in my series and had basically gone on an unspecified, unannounced hiatus writing on that. And so, literally, between working and trying to write and then also editing for Chris and Kelly already, it made a lot of sense to accept the offer to join the writing staff of the series and throw in a little bit of my own kind of spin on it, I guess, which has been a lot of fun. And like Kelly said, we had all RPG together for years. And so it was really just a lot of fun to get back into it, and it's a different writing style, but it's easy to fall into. And it definitely works around all of our work schedules and everything like that. It's not
and that's kind of, Ashley mentioned work schedules. When Chris and I started the show, we wanted something that was easy for all of us to do. Because seeing this is what I deal with all
I
day.
work at a nursing home.
And I know Ashley works really weird hours with her job. And so we kind of wanted that your scenes are there, you write them when you can, and you just tag back and forth. And it's more, I guess, of a relaxed feel when we write. We don't really rush it, although we... Oh, and for the record, we won Web Series Writing Month! Okay, that was really good news.
We got 4.
I was kind of getting really excited.
In that month. Back.
Actually, we're like 6.5 almost.
Yeah, I think Kelly said 6.5.
Okay, well, 6. Back.
And if it weren't the 3rd, if it was like August 31st, we would have 7 if I could finish editing 15.
Yeah. But anyway, it was really good. And I thought it was really, I think it kind of motivated us to kind of keep on a schedule now with the show, where we're going to steadily produce, which Chris and I didn't really do when we started.
I don't know what you're talking about, Cameron.
I know. Anyway. Okay. That was my excitement.
That's our intro to Ash. And me and Kelly are just like over the moon to have her and welcome again.
Okay.
So, we're going to casting now. So, I'm going to let Ash and Kelly introduce their characters. Because I don't have any characters.
Howdy. Okay. I don't care, whoever wants to go first.
Ash, you may.
You want to just like split it down the middle?
Well, I figured you could talk about your 2, then I'll talk about my 3.
Huh?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. Among coming in, I not only took over a couple of characters, which I'm sure some people have noticed with their writing on. I know I took over Rory
Yes.
in episode 12, and I took over Hunter in, I think I took him in 13 or 14.
13.
13.
So you'll see that, and then I've also taken over the role of Tegan, who hasn't actually put in premiered yet. But I also brought about 2-ish characters, and you will get to see them make their appearances in episodes 13 and 14. I brought in Shiloh Green, who is the older sister of Whitney.
And Connor.
And
Connor.
And Connor, who has not his premiere.
He's not here yet.
But Shiloh is a civil lawyer. She handles anything from divorces to
Civil lawsuits, things like
civil
that.
lawsuits. Yeah, thanks, Kelly. To custody arrangements and everything like that. She basically comes into town to help her little sister out with her
Sort of
issue.
quasi semi-divorce.
Her impending kind of sort of divorce.
And then there's Catherine Scottson. She is the aforementioned character who was in a relationship with Jackson while they were both doing drugs. And he crashed the car into a wall, and she kind of left town.
What's
Before
the
he
most
went to go
important
get
part of Catherine?
Catherine is also, it has not exactly been revealed, but
If you read her bio.
If you read her bio, yes. Catherine is also Jackson's baby mama. She has their 2-year-old son who, unknown to Jackson, has been living in and raised right down the street from him, basically. He's seen his own kid, his family's seen his kid, and not a dang one of them knows it's his.
Shame, Catherine.
And she causes trouble, which is good, because they kind of need real trouble to be a couple.
This is
All
a
right,
problem.
Kelly.
So Chris and I had always talked about bringing on a character named Arya. Okay.
He likes Arya, apparently.
Apparently. And when we kind of envisioned the character, we actually were not going to connect her to a family on the canvas. However, since we like to play with history on Blissful so much, and we could not resist another Devonshire Walker / Green feud hitting the canvas.
Gotta love fights.
and that whole rivalry going on, we decided to make Aria Ryan's little sister. Currently, she's a nursing student who wants to continue on to medical school, and she's been away at boarding school. She's very estranged from her brother because, as readers know, Ryan kind of abandoned his family when he, after high school, decided to be in love and marry Whitney and run off and abandon his fortune and his trust fund and his money. And so Aria appeared in episode 9. She appeared in 9, where Rory spilled coffee all over her. She's like, you asshole.
Yeah, I was still writing Rory when Aria.
Yeah, Chris was writing Rory still at that time, and then in 10 she appeared again with Rory, and I think the best way to describe her, she's kind of our Donna Martin, right?
She's a Donna Martin.
She's a virgin, which I was really excited to write that. Most all my other girls aren't, so. And I think it's important. I do, and it'll be fun, and I like that they have this like romance that really picks up in season 1, and then in season 2 it becomes more of that history feud repeating itself, which is really fun.
With the added twist at that.
True.
In it.
True. The next character I believe was Casey Rhodes. What we noticed on the show is that John has like one friend. Well, 2. It has Brayden and Devin, but we really wanted to divulge. Yeah, go away.
And he runs.
Go away. We really wanted to divulge into John and Chauncey's past world. Chauncey has some friends. Anyway, I always use Lord of the Rings with that, but anyway. So Casey has actually come to town to destroy Chauncey's political career. Something really bad happened in Iraq where his brother was killed due to Chauncey's retardedness of not following orders and making a mistake. And he really does blame the Devonshires for it. He totally hates them. And he kind of came
John's not the only one, guys. John is not the only one.
John has different reasons for hating them now, though. But anyway. So it's kind of... I really want to explore that rich people get away with crap. And I think his first appearance is in episode 10, which is Adorn, and his first scenes were with Bliss, which is... We can't tell who Bliss is. Well, do readers, know who she is yet?
I think they pretty much, unless they're dumb folk fans, they kind of know.
Spoiler, Patrick, cover your ears. He's like,
little ears, earmuffs.
So, in case you all, spoiler alert, haven't figured out, Bliss is the bastard child of Lowell's with crazy psycho Tess. So, Casey and Bliss had their first meeting, and... Yeah, anyway. And when we were... Oh my god, child, sit down. We're not in the camera. When we were discussing... I remember reference. But when we were... When we were kind of discussing Bliss's character, we liked her with Auric, but Auric is going in this totally awesome direction, and I can't tell you guys about it. And we always knew that the plan was to never have Bliss and Hunter really be a couple because she was totally just playing a part. And we really wanted Bliss to have someone fun and kind of adventurous for her because it fit her character. And so Casey's kind of that person that we decided. And so far, I know people have really liked their scenes together that we've had. And so that's
we've gotten a lot of positive
feedback from them, and that's important. I think when we're picking couples and things like that, is that you want the fans to really react well to them and have chemistry and things like that. Who's the third one?
Cassie.
Oh yeah, Cassie! She's like my little... Okay, if anyone knows how I write, I like to write sweet little nice people.
Okay, time out, I'm sorry. Kelly writes the nice folks.
Minus Max. Max is like my only bitch. Anyway.
And I guess mine are kind of in the middle.
I
have some nice ones and I have some really...
I really wanted a different character with Cassie, so she's kind of like a sex addict, I guess I should say.
She's a maid. She's not a sex addict.
Dude, no! She likes sex. I like that aspect of her. She's kind of like ballsy, and she just like goes after what she wants. She doesn't take crap from it. And it's really refreshing for me to write that as an author because I kind of have never done it before. And I was telling Chris, she's like my Dirty Dark Places character. Anyway, I get really excited when I write different characters. By the way, I write a serial killer. And I really want to do that again at one point, but no, I'm not reading psychos yet.
I got a psycho.
I got a psycho coming.
So I like Cassie, and we kind of decided after Ashley came on what direction we were kind of going to go with the whole John, Jackson, Danny triangle type thing. And we decided that John needed a fun woman for a while. Poor John. He's just poor John.
I'm not gonna comment on it, okay? Just change the subject.
Poor John. So Cassie's first appearance was in episode 9, I believe, or 8. She appeared like really briefly. And then her actual first scene is in episode 15 that's coming up. And I really like her. She has
That's coming up.
Huh?
That's coming up.
Once it's edited next week. Duh.
Hey, it's almost done editing. I'm on that scene.
Yeah.
Well, did you feel that scene that we did with that scene?
We should eventually talk about our sex scenes too, eventually in a vlog.
Okay.
Just because we're like really bold with it.
Casting, I'll go for the sex scene.
Huh?
I said, since I didn't get a casting, I'll go for the sex scene. Hey.
So, she kind of has this really awesome introduction with John, and from people who previewed the episode, like my husband, he really likes them together. We're not gonna go. I'm busy. Here, read a card. Anyway, so that's I think our casting right now. Cassie has connections to Audrey, and readers should have figured out the whole Auric Reese connection now too by now. So
okay, if you haven't, which I hope you have,
because if you haven't, you're not smart.
Yeah, it's pretty much been spelled out to you that Audrey is Reese's mother, but what hasn't been spelled out is who's the father.
Yes.
And I think this is a minor spoiler, that Dad is come on soon.
Yes. We're kind of hinted about it. Okay, so I believe that's it for casting. Do you want to talk about the other thing, Chris?
Sure.
We go big.
One thing coming from RPGs that we picked up is we get to do sex scenes, and
I don't want that for my face.
Always wanted to do
God, child. Anyway,
is have Bliss will have more of a realistic feel. So we
People
want to
have
show
sex.
couples expressing their sexuality, whether they're homosexual or heterosexual. So that's why on Adorn you get, which is episode 10, you get a really romantic love scene between Zach and Mason, just like you get a hot steamy one with Greer and Jackson. Sex scenes aren't meant to offend, but they are meant to show that these couples are in love, or they're in lust, or they're in heat in that moment. And we don't want nobody to be offended, but we do know that this is something we're going to keep going with and pushing the envelope a little further. Actually.
Yeah. From my perspective, I watch Game of Thrones and I read the books. Sex is just a thing couples do, and I've never really been offended by it. I did it on Dangerous Tides a lot, and so, again, if it offends you, well. I'm sorry.
I think people are probably thinking they're a little more steamy because it's two writers writing together.
Yeah.
And they are, sometimes like, Kelly, do you need an ice cube?
Ashley's over here writing herself as she reads and edits.
But I think it's realistic to show these couples are in love, like Chris said, or they're in lust with each other, or they're having an affair. And I think, yes, child, are you going to go down for a nap?
Can I comment?
Yes.
Blissful will not be doing a affair storyline. for a long time.
We kind of got a lot of whack for that. So, anyway, I'm gonna go night-night. Okay, I'll be right back. Talk about something else.
Okay. Ashley.
Chris,
Okay.
I can't see you.
I know, I can't see you either.
I hope she's not still recording this.
She is.
Ah.
So, we're going to keep the vlog rolling.
Well, I guess you can start with the recaps with episode 10.
Recaps. Alright, guys. As you know, even when me and Kelly were just writing the series, episode 10 was supposed to be a big turning point episode. And it was supposed to be an episode where a lot of stuff is changing and you get to see different couples and you really got to see what the dynamics of what Blissful was about. And I think we accomplished that brilliantly with episode 10. And one of our readers / friends gave us the idea to put different songs in each scene of 10 because they loved that episode so much, or they liked it or whatever. And it actually really worked to our advantage. And we found songs that really fit each scene and each couple that was featured, because not everybody's a couple that was featured. One was a one-night stand, one was a couple, one was a married couple, one was a two people connecting. So it was really interesting to watch, you know. It was really interesting to write, I should say, not watch. But the first thing is Lowell and Jackie, and we chose a really kind of classic song to put a cap on what their love was, even in the 80s, which was Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time. And what makes me love this song so much for them as a couple.
The baby was hungry. Okay. Go ahead.
What makes me love that song for them so much as a couple is because time after time they do prosper and they do come back together, and they fought so hard to become this matriarch and patriarch of this family. And now they're at that point where they can tell each other anything, where they can talk about anything, where even where, you know, Jackie was flirting with the idea of an affair, she couldn't even go through it because she loved her husband that much. And I think the lyrics of that song really speaks to them as a couple. And Kelly or Ash, do y'all want to add anything to that?
No, I liked it. It was a good choice.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay, Kelly, you got the next
song. Oh, I love this song, so I'll totally talk about this. So, Chris knows I'm obsessed with Imagine Dragons. I love them. Anyway,
Okay.
And it's Brayden and Selena's scene, and fans are kind of like, really like Brayden. They like Brayden, anyway. And I felt like Demons, like, totally fit them on so many levels. Let me pull it up. I have to look at the lyrics.
Curtain call is the
last of all, when the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl.
Last of all.
So they dug your grave, and the masquerade will come calling out.
Lights fade out, all the...
At the mess you made. And the chorus is, it's where all my demons hide, and I think it totally fits for them. Should I spoil it that we're going to do them?
No. I'm
Okay.
spoiling everything.
I hate this. Anyway, they have, like, this history connection, and we kind of divulge more into that in episode... What?
By the way, everybody, if you want spoilers, just befriend Kelly, because she's going to give them to you.
So...
Tag.
Fans really like their history aspect of them as a couple, and I think the scene showcased that really well with them. That Selena's really independent, and they've always kind of had bad timing, right? So we decided They suck at their timing.
Oh, that's so tragic. Now you reminded me of the last thing.
I know. I'm like, we were all crying anyway. Chris and I cry when we write. It was so sad. But I thought the song fit really well for them. It's about your inner demons that you fight with each other, and I think that they have a lot of that with their history, and I think for Selena's character, it's totally hard for her to see, like, the guy she was with for so many years, like, just be like, I'm moving on type thing, and that's tough on anyone, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of let go of that is, it's really tough.
I think what fans are really loving with this triangle is natural, and it feels like we've all been at that point where you have somebody that you care tremendously about, and the timing just never fits.
Mm-hmm.
It's never right, and it's never at that moment. And I think that's what what draws people to Selena and Brayden. And I think what draws some fans to Talia and Brayden is the fact that you can have fun and find somebody that you really care about and you fall in love with because they're fun and they're interesting and they're quirky and they're different. And that's all those things that Talia is. She's not ashamed to say, I'm going to sleep with you right now on the table, and then you're going to buy me a pair of nice shoes, and then we're going to go on a date. We're going to do this all backwards. You're going to sleep with me first, and then we're going to date later.
And from Brayden's perspective, writing him, he needs that. We kind of divulge more into in the upcoming episodes, but he's kind of never got to be a kid. And for him...
I think Talia brings out that childlike quality.
Yeah, and I think that's why fans like it. I mean, anyway, we'll divulge that when we do our next
video. We got a whole nother blog for that, honey.
I know. Okay, so you can do the next scene.
Well, Ashley picked the song, so I think maybe Ashley should say it.
Did she pick?
No.
Yeah.
I did not let Kelly pick this one.
No, Let Her Go by Passioner, you picked it.
No, you picked it.
Oh, yeah, I picked it.
Well, Kelly, you keep going. Then I'll talk about Casey and Bliss and why I think Casey's so good for Bliss.
Do you want me to quote the lyrics again?
No, you don't have to quote the lyrics, Kelly.
I have to read the lyrics to figure out what I'm talking about, though. Okay, I picked this song. I know what I'm talking about. I think there's a whole sadness encompassed with it that I thought both characters did very well in the scene. Bliss is totally in this turmoil of, is she doing the right thing by being this pawn to Max and Hunter's marriage? And Casey is, like, lonely. And for me, writing Casey's intro in this episode was really good. I thought the song really fit that. I think of all the men on canvas, he could probably be the only one that really accepts Bliss for who she is. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Okay, so that's why I picked Passengers Let Her Go for it. Anyway.
Could you see Brayden and Bliss dating and she's breaking
that'd be weird.
Eric's apartment and filming flash drive and Casey's like, oh, that's hot.
don't strip on the phone with me again.
Would be like, I'm horrified. Jackson, let's say she dated a Devonshire or something before she knew she knows, but like, there's no man on campus but Casey. I think Devin would even be kind of freaked out that she can break into his house and his apartment.
Casey's like, that's hot.
I think Casey's kind of turned on by it.
He is.
Like, she's kind of a rebel, you know?
And he's kind of mentioned that he's like, I dig her.
We just really wanted to show that Bliss has a really big, vulnerable side. And I think this scene shows that she's not just this hardened criminal. And I think, her speaking about her mother, and, she's kind of spoken about it little by little, piece by piece. But now you're getting the idea of what she grew up with. She didn't grow up in no happy environment like the Devonshires or Logan or Catherine or, some of the other characters that's on campus. She grew up in a really crappy environment where her mother was kind of mommy dearest to her. And if anybody's watched Mommy Dearest, you know that was not a great environment to kind of grow up in. And Bliss is becoming the person she is through those moments. She's a thief because of her mother taught her how to be a thief. she's a liar because her mother taught her to lie to get what she wanted. She's a con woman because that's the only thing she knows. She didn't even, well, I'm not going to reveal that yet. But
You're so careful with spoilers. I'm just like, let's tell them.
yeah, Callie's like our spoiler queen. She's like, yay! She gets really excited when she tells spoilers.
I do. My husband says I'm the worst secret keeper, and it's true, just so you all know.
I'm telling the fans, if you want the spoilers for Blissful, befriend Kelly, and she'll give you whatever you want. She'll butter you up, just butter her up with a dinner roll and send her on her way. But I really liked the introduction for KC, and I really felt that they had an instant spark, which we always like. You don't always meet, like, some certain characters were built up. Like, I feel like Danny and Jackson had a spark in the beginning, but they were built to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To be as happy as they're becoming.
Sort of. They're not happy in 10, but.
Shut up. But I think Casey and Bliss had a natural, innate spark. And I think we can wrap them up. And we can, I think it's Arya and
Rory.
And Roy. I think, Ashley, can you go for it? Or we're going to wait on that? Or who?
I love this song! I picked this song!
I picked the Max and Hunter song, so I've got ways to go before I get to that.
Kiss You Goodnight by Gloriana. Come on. Like, how much more sweeter can you get for their first date?
It was the first date. I was still writing Rory at the
Yes.
time. And I think it was just a really sweet thing.
It's
I think it really set up. I don't think we have to go into depth in it. Because
No, it was more the... Episode 10 was really about kind of showing different stages of relationships. And I thought the scene fit really well for a first date for them. That, oh, well, I should have kissed... I really love the song. The song's so pretty.
And I think it really set up Ash really good to jump into Rory and Ari's relationship. So
yeah, it was a sweet, tender moment. Okay, hello. My child is.
Patrick.
Well, hi, Patrick. How are you?
He likes that song too. He dances to it anyway.
No Lady Gaga, Patrick. None of that.
Right.
He doesn't.
Did you say Lady Gaga?
So I thought that was good, and I think that's all we need to say about this scene. It was a sweet, romantic, like first date scene. It was really good, and I know we had a lot of fun writing it, so it was good.
Now this is my scene. See this, can't wait to we really wanted. I really wanted a gay couple on Blissful because I felt like a lot of times gay relationships are played way too safe on soap opera primetime and any other show. You know, Queer as Folk broke so many boundaries. Noah's Ark broke boundaries. But I really want to have a series where the love between two men can be just as great as love between a man and a woman. And I think
I was really nervous writing this scene, just so you all know. I was so nervous when we wrote this.
Remember, guys, a couple blogs ago, I said me and Kelly were working on a scene and she was like freaking out.
Because I asked questions.
That she was freaking out on us. And she did wonderful. Like I said, for her to be a heterosexual woman and know nothing about a homosexual sex, she did wonderful. And it was a beautiful scene. I think it really touches on Zach and Mason's vibe of who they are, how they've fallen in love with each other, and I think it really gave fans an intake on where Zach and Mason are at that point. You know what I mean? They're falling really deeply in love with each other. However, I do feel like we put some warnings in there too. You know, Zach's kind of insecure about certain things, but as the story goes along, you'll see what happens.
And I think the nice thing about Zach too is we kind of made it different that Zach's actually bi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's fun.
And if you remember in the first, I think it was episode 2, if I'm not mistaken, Zach and Jackson have a great scene where Jackson's like, everybody's known you were gay and you were proud of that, or bi and you were proud of that, and Zach was kind of still squeamish. So
Yeah.
I think you have to watch the context clues on our series a lot of the times too. So it's just it was really good to have show loving each other just the way any other. And we're really thinking about using Same Love for their wedding. I'm kidding. They're not getting married. I'm kidding. But it was a really nice scene, and as for the song, how much sexier can you get than Miguel? Yeah. Adoring is probably one of the sexiest songs of 2012 into 2013 to me, but that's just my opinion. So I was like, okay, I want to use that for them. And I'm the R&B boy of the group. I got 2 country and rock gals with me, and I'm the R&B boy. So a lot of the R&B you see comes from me. Like, although Kelly chose today from Rihanna.
I love that song. Just so you know.
But a lot of the R&B that you're going to see comes from me, and because I've been raised on R&B and all that. So Miguel was my first choice for them too, and since they had this first beautiful moment where they made love for the first time, we chose to name the episode Adore.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can talk about the next thing because that's all you do.
Oh god,
No one night stand. One night stand.
Oh no, oh god, I know what this is.
The one we got so much backlash from people, but in a good way. But in a good way.
Okay. So I absolutely love this song called Wicked Games by The Weeknd, and I've been trying to figure out a way to put it on Blissful for forever. And the song lyrics, I can read them. You guys probably can read them or listen to the song, but it says, "So tell me you love me, only for tonight, only for one night. Even though you don't love me, just tell me you love me. I'll give you what you need. I'll give you all of me, even though you don't love me." And I thought that was so fitting for the scene that was coming up.
Anyway.
Greer and Jackson, from the moment they met in episode 4, I think fans kind of got the impression that Greer was going to hump his leg. And it finally came to fruition. Greer kind of has always had a crush on him, much like Danny, and much like a lot of girls in their school. Jackson was the star guy. I mean, everybody at school has him where they was a bad boy, and that was Jackson. And Greer, even though she was so much younger than them, adored Jackson. And it finally came out in this sexually charged, nasty, kinky little thing where Jackson is hurting that Danny won't. What exactly is Jackson upset about?
Because she won't sleep with him yet.
Oh, okay. Well, Danny won't give up the panties.
I think it's a lot of things. I think Danny's insecure and he's frustrated by it, as I think any man should be.
I think that's part of it. I think he's frustrated, but I think he's a horn dog. Jackson is a horn dog.
We've already kind of decided that's how we were doing it, that he kind of likes sex.
Jackson's a horn dog, and Greer is lonely, and she's
and unfortunately it happened.
And she's bored with her life. I think that's one thing Greer can be stated with Greer. She was bored, even though she's starting to get into her madam world more and more. She's bored with her life. And she's bored and she's tired, cranky, and I think she's at the point where she feels like her and Danny have hit a standstill. And Jackson's there, and Jackson's dashing, and he's a rogue, and she's seductive to him, and he's seductive to her. And one thing I really wanted to play upon was Greer and Jackson have a sexual chemistry, and in bed they're like lightning, they explosive, and I think the song and the mood of what they were doing inside the Chateau Montgomery um, really fit them. And it really fit that they were just giving in for one night, and it was one time where they couldn't resist each other. And I think, well, twice, but
we touched on that.
Well, twice, but
it still counts as one night.
Well, twice.
One night, early morning, okay?
Night.
Okay. A 1/2 night thing, okay?
Okay.
I felt like it fit their dirty little affair, that one night stand that they had, and it'll come out in a very organic way down the line, and it's very fun, and I think everybody's reaction to what happens will be surprising. But I think at the moment, Jackson needed comfort, Greer needed comfort, and she's always kind of had a crush on him. But when you have a crush, and it doesn't always live up to when you get your crush, it doesn't always live up to what you expect. And I'm not meaning sexually, I mean mentally. But you'll find all that out later. But,
what was the next one? I had to look at
that was my scene. I got to write it all, and I got to use my phone.
So do you want to talk about the next one? Max and Hunter's scene? The scientist?
I think you guys can talk. We'll talk about it together, because that was both of us writing it, right? Wasn't I still writing?
I think Ashley picked the song for it.
I picked the song, but I didn't pick up writing in the series until episode 12.
Yeah.
Just with the content of the scene as I was reading it, because it was one of the few that Chris and Kelly had not come up with a song for yet, the scientist kind of just said everything. I mean, it's like, come up to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. You don't know how lovely you are. And I think Max, even though she doesn't show it, I think she has her own insecurities that she tries to keep covered up. And Hunter, having known her for so long and been in such a long relationship with her, would know about her insecurities or would be able to placate them in his own way at times. And them just having this huge fight about whether or not either of them or both of them is having an affair and everything.
And I think Hunter said it best at the end of the scene was that he loves her, but he doesn't trust her.
Yeah.
I forgive you, Max.
But I don't trust you as far as I can hurt you. And you shouldn't. Anyway.
I think it was one of those fights that really solidified them as a couple that you're not rooting for. You're rooting for them to break up now and see what happens. See how this is going to turn out. I don't think this is a fight, whereas Whitney and Ryan...
That's the next scene, anyway.
Next scene.
Next scene.
We'll just roll into the next one while we're at it.
Yeah. Whereas Whitney and Ryan, I feel like you're rooting for them to make it back together.
Yeah.
I feel like Hunter and Max, you're rooting for them to break apart. And for Max to get some kind of comeuppance. And just keep reading. But
yeah, I agree with that.
But I'm drowning. All right, we're going to the next thing.
Yeah, Ryan and Whitney. I love that song.
Okay, well, you can explain why you can.
I haven't listened to Evanescence since like 2000 and something. I'm dating myself. I'm really old. But I really liked. Ashley actually suggested this song, and I thought it was really well for them. I like that we're portraying, and I think a lot of people have made a point that we're portraying their divorce very realistically, and that there's a ton of emotions behind it. I've been with you for 10 years, and I love you so deeply, but you hurt me so bad by having an affair with Skinkerella Audrey. I call her old hoe bag.
She's a classy old hoe.
Anyway, So, like, from Whitney's perspective, like, she's still holding on to that, sort of, kind of, but she kind of wants to divorce him. And from Ryan, I think Ryan is totally sorry for his affair. And I think this is the first scene where they kind of both, like, fought for each other. And I think that's what fans loved about it, was that it was rootable. Like, they got down to their issues, that Ryan had neglected her for months, like, and had this really beautiful love scene. And it was so well done. And, I don't know. I had a blast writing it, but I kind of root for them.
A lot of people root for them.
But go ahead.
But I just feel like Whitney is so at a painful place in her life, and she's lost.
Which she should be.
So many women define themselves in their man, and I think that's one moment that Whitney still hasn't stated yet, but she's gonna say soon. She defined herself in Ryan. You know what I mean? Ryan was somebody who she loved, she cared about, and when she found out that he's a cheater, it broke her a little bit. It broke her spirit. And I think that's the interesting aspect between them. And I think him finding out that what he did was so wrong, and him knowing that what he did was wrong, especially with Skankarella eyes.
I make up for you.
Just having Chris call her that just makes it all that much funnier.
I like the scene where, like, she all tries to seduce me. He's like, whatever. your boobs are sagging.
I love when they keep calling her an old hag. Like, it's a reoccurring joke with they keep calling it with us. They keep calling her an old hag, I think. So it's hilarious. But anyway. I just feel like the dynamic between those two couples are very loving and interesting. Between that couple is very interesting. And
you could talk about the last scene.
Yeah, and the way we played out their divorce is really fun for us as writers. It's not fun to read. I hope it's fun to read, but I'm saying it should be painful.
Yes.
Well, I hope it's not painful. You get what I'm saying.
Yes, we get it.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the last scene?
Sure. You can talk about Bruce Springsteen, because I was just like, that is all you, Kelly.
So my husband reads the show, and he really loved Bruce Springsteen's Secret Garden for a couple of different reasons. John has always chased the girl. John will never get the girl.
My kids are screwed, okay? Just screwed over. Thanks a lot, guys. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think Dan, when Chris and I were writing it, Dan was reading the scene, and he really felt this fit. I think more so from John's perspective. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I love Secret. How can you not like the theme song from Jerry Maguire? Come on.
Great song.
It's a great song. And do you want to talk about writing it? Like, I don't know. Like, I think readers finally kind of got that. We finally spilled that John has had, like, romantic feelings for Danny for, like, ever. And she was not sure what to do about it.
And I think one thing I like about this scene is John finally let go in a way, too.
Yeah.
He let go.
It was like a sad scene. Like, he's like, I'm not going to wait around for you. And she's just like, oh my god, I just cheated on Jackson, but I sort of kind of didn't know you felt this way. And I think it's a very real scene. Like, it was, I don't know, real would be the way to put it. It was a sad
scene. I'm sorry.
For me, it was a very real scene. Like,
it was.
It was sad. And then the readers know that anyway, Jackson's all screwing around, but anyway.
Exactly.
You just know it, but scared yourself.
Anyway.
Which is always the best fun.
But I think in a way it was good for John's character to finally sort of go, and we kind of pick up later in a few episodes that it's still kind of unresolved in a way. And that they kind of just don't talk about it. John and Danny don't talk about anything after they kiss. They don't talk about their makeout scene, in history. And they don't talk about this, anyway.
Sad. They are sad, non-communicative.
But I think for both characters it's good, in a way, too. Like,
No, it's not good for my character. Okay?
it's not good for
It's
your
character
character.
who gets Jackson, okay? It's not good for my character.
Don't worry, Ashley is fixing this as we speak.
Sort of. Anyway, John's still screwed over.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was episode 10, and it was fun.
And like I said, it was our big turning point episode, which is really cool. And I'll just burrow into episode 11, which is another one of my choices. Well, music choices. When reading it, I just felt like I was listening to Take Care the day that I was writing it, and it just really felt like this was a great choice. And of course, I want a little hip hop on the episode too, and on the series too, which Drake really always aims. It's perfect to me. Like, he's one of the coolest rappers around because he sings and raps, which is always a good perk. And I just really felt like that song really encompassed everything that this episode kind of was about. And I'll roll right on in. The first scene, you get to see Selena and Talia get catty, and they get
I'll make cat sounds.
And I'm from the 80s era of soap opera telling, and the 80s and 90s era. That's when I fell in love with soap operas. And honey, I saw Erica Kane and Maria slap each other around. Erica and Brooke slap each other around. I saw Alexis and Crystal beat each other up. So I love me a good cat fight. I will raise my hand and say it. I love a good cat fight. And we have yet to have one on the series, but don't believe that it ain't coming. But now, I think Selena and Talia's scene really show that both of these women really care about Brayden, and they're fighting about.
Everyone's fighting about Brayden. So
and they're fighting about their heart. They both want to have their heart in this relationship, and I think even though Selena's not in the relationship with me, she's showing that I'm caring. This is my man. I love him. And Talia, you're not gonna get him. And Talia's like, go away, Selena, you old hag. You're old new.
Yep.
And Selena's like, little girl, listen, old news or not, honey, you gonna still be sniffing around this. And Talia's like, honey. And it was just like a little cat fight, but it was a little like snark fest. But I think the point of that scene more than anything is to show both of these women really care about Brayden. And I think that's where the thing. And to have two women sniping at each other. It's always fun for two women who can't stand each other sniping at each other. The next scene, I believe, is Whitney and Danny.
No,
they're going shopping.
So. I think it's actually Devin and Ophelia.
No, in 11.
No, it's Danny and Whitney.
Oh, it is. You're right. Okay, it is them.
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm on the website.
Yeah.
Sorry. I could have swore I was on.
Die.
You're right. I just was ahead on my phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're shopping at the mall and they're doing the girl thing, I believe.
Well.
And they are talking about Ryan and is she sure that she wants to divorce him and do you still love him? And of course, Danny is a super Ryan and Whitney fan because they are friends and she wants them together, you know. And I think that's what any friends would do. And then she's encouraging her to work it out, you know what I mean? And they're shopping, and then I think somehow Jackson all up in the and they talking about how do you, I don't know, Danny's asking Whitney, if I'm not mistaken, how do you know if you love somebody?
Yeah.
And Whitney gives her these little funny little.
We love Whitney and Danny's friendship. It's so real.
Yeah,
anyway.
So they just have this really fun relationship as best friends, and I think everybody has their friend where they can be like, "Bitch, shut up," and "Girl, be quiet." And I think that's what they are with each other, and I think that's cool. The next thing would be John.
Ophelia and Devin.
Oh, would be Ophelia going batshit crazy. That's what this thing should be called. Ophelia going batshit crazy. She basically reveals if this is the scene where she finally reveals that she's been sleeping with Chauncey all this time, I believe. And Devin is devastated. And there's so much emotion in this scene where Devin is like, how could you do this to me? And she's like, I don't care. This is what I want, and I'm going for it. And it's slowly showing signs that Ophelia might not be all wrapped too tight. And the next thing will be Casey and Bliss. And they're waking up in the morning after the rainstorm, and Bliss is kind of like, I need to get out of here. And she reveals that she was paid, she was getting paid $5 million to break up a couple. And she reveals all her little secrets to Casey, and they kind of start to form a bond even deeper. And I think that's really important for them as a couple, that they're starting to form this bond together. And I really like that Bliss is like, I gotta go, because she's starting to feel trapped almost. And I think Bliss runs a lot too. She's a runner too. When she's starting to feel comfortable with somebody, she wants to get away from them.
Yep.
And I think she's feeling comfortable with Casey, and he brings the comfort to her. And I think it's really kind of cool that she found somebody that she could be herself around. And I think they're kind of at a cool spot to me as friends. And you'll see Bliss kind of switches her partners up. She kind of drops Eric and picks up Casey, like, come on.
Which is good.
Which is kind of cool. The next thing is kind of was really what made me choose Take Care. Listening to the song and reading Devin and Greer.
Devin?
David and Greer, excuse me.
That'd be weird if Devin was like
Yeah, that was a new pairing that we all did.
Devin already has a crazy wife.
Greer and David were the sparkly pairing at one point, and now they're not. And
I cried during the scene.
Well, in Greer head, that's what they're at. And she starts to get these really emotional feelings for cheating on her husband and leaving him. And it actually really is a beautiful moment for her character where you get to see that Greer is horrified at the choice that she made.
Yeah.
But she can't turn back the hands of time now. And she desperately wanted David to be the dashing guy that he was in the beginning of the relationship. But now all of a sudden, right after she cheats, which is like life, David comes to his senses and sees that he's kind of turning his wife off. And it's sad. Kind of sad. And
I cried.
And it's really a painful thing.
I cried everything.
You know, and then at the end, Jackson sees that she's in this turmoil. And I think this is one of those moments that, you know, that Jackson still has a little bit of a douchebag in him. He sees that Greer is in this big turmoil. And then he basically seduces her all over again.
Not Jackson.
The next thing would be Ryan and Zach, and they both, basically, Ryan asks Zach to help him get his wife back. After
I love their friendship.
Anyway. And Zach basically is like, are you sure that she wants to stack with you? Like, because if you're buying jewels and you're not sure, then, you know, you need to be positive about this. And I think we move on where Zach and I think we're starting to show those fears of Zach were that he's fallen in love with a man.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most bold way to put it. He fallen in love with a man, and he never thought that that would be his life. He thought, even though he had these feelings, he would marry a woman. And I think those things are. He's asked him, "How do I have kids?" He's starting to be.
I have a child in a minute. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, he's starting to be disturbed by the notion of that he might not be able to have the normal life that he once held so close to him after his parents died. And I think those are beats that you're going to see play more. That he wanted a normal life, you know? And he wanted everything to just be all right. But how can he have a baby? How can he have a kid? How can he do some of the things that, you know, he wants to do as a normal man and with another man? And I think those are wonderful.
Yes. Awesome.
Wonderful beats to play with him being bisexual and falling in love with a man. So I think this is not the last one, but it's a big thing.
Oric and Danny.
It's Oric, Danny, and Whitney. And this scene is pretty much the icing on the cake for readers, because you find out that Oric actually has a really big past in Atlas Ball. He was the guy who basically slept with Danny and just vanished.
Why Danny won't have sex with Jackson?
Yeah.
She's totally like, ah.
So, like, this is one of those things where you finally know that if you haven't put it out, like we said earlier in the blog, if you haven't put the pieces together to find out that Reese and Oric is the same person, then
you haven't been paying attention.
This is spelled out. It's kind of spelled out for you right here in this scene. And Whitney's kind of really, really, really funny in this scene. One thing I found in Whitney is that she's a bulldog, and she will bite and claw and scratch. And she, when her family and friends are in danger, she gets snarky and she becomes a bitch. And Whitney perceives Reese as a danger. Reese/Oric is a danger. And you also found out that his birth name was also Philip. So he has 3 different names in the series. This is kind of a clue.
Huh?
I was just saying, it's kind of a clue that he has 3 different names.
Yeah.
And I think the scene really gave interesting dynamics into Oric's mind. You're slowly going to start seeing that he's going into a descent of darkness. The next thing would be Audrey and Selena. And Audrey basically offers Selena a job as the local news anchor, which with our option of syndication. And that's too big for Selena to turn down. And Selena goes on to sell her newspaper to Audrey, and Audrey has one of the biggest publishing dynasties on the East Coast, probably in the country. And we really wanted to play that up, that Audrey would be making business moves and would want control of the newspaper in town, so she could print basically anything she wanted about the dead child. Then
somebody else that crosses her.
Oh, exactly. So it's like she wanted that power to be able to stack the chips against people.
Yeah. It's not that bad.
Jackie and Lowell find out that, well, it's not the same, but they find out exactly. Is it the same that they found out?
No. Chauncey told him she was sick, but this is actual, like, she's really sick.
This is the thing where they find out that Maddie has cancer. And the reporters and, Logan pretty much starts to kind of, you see that she's starting to disintegrate. She isn't sleeping. She's starting to really fall into the role of being the woman with a sick parent. while Lowell and Jackie kind of step in as their parents and to help them through this crisis because they're helping their daughter through their crisis. And I think it's one of those beautiful things that you get to see before the eye of the storm.
Lowell gets to be a boss throughout it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and Lowell gets to show that he's a boss because Kelly loves when Lowell barks.
And he like Chauncey cowers. It's just awesome.
And then we get to do I think it's the final scene of the episode.
It's Max and Jackson. Yes.
The final thing I've probably took 30 minutes to find this whole damn episode. Max and Jackson have a moment where they're talking, where they get to have breakfast with each other, and Max finally reveals she's a little jealous that he's all happy and she's stuck with Hunter, where she's not that happy with him. And I think it's really one of those cool moments, you know, where she's like, how the hell did this happen? How did you become the happy twin and I'm the miserable one? And I think it's one of those good moments where Matt Jackson's like, if you're not happy, you know, find your own happiness. And I think it's a good moment before the twins that they have these, we're going to have more scenes like this where Jackson and Danny have moments, you know, I mean, Jackson and Max have moments like this, you know, where they're being twins. You know, twins have these moments where they talk to each other. They can't be without each other and away from each other. And Max has shown that side, but Jackson is a little, what's the word? Prima donna. He doesn't show those instincts to Max as much as she shows for him. And I think that's partially because Jackson has been the one who's been on drugs, alcohol,
He's screwed up. He's screwed up.
Let's kill somebody.
Yeah, you know. So Max is kind of taking the role of big sister.
And I like that.
Little sister.
And I like that when we were writing it too, you really played like the guilt that Jackson felt too, and I thought that was so important for that scene too.
Yeah, Jackson.
He finally like gets hit with it.
Yeah, he was hurt. And where he's slamming into a wall and not basically caring. He kept moving forward, you know, with his life. Well, we didn't really know what happened to Captain. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a lot of guilt that he has for a lot of things he's done. But okay, keep going.
Well, you touched on the Greer guilt too, which I thought was important.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that was like the major point of the scene was he's like, wow, I totally effed up.
Oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, anyway. Okay, my bad.
He hasn't hit the Catherine guilt yet.
Talking about Catherine. Listen, you have a lot of guilt, okay? That's a lot of guilt.
He's guilty.
Okay? No, the thing is that he feels a little bad because Max basically was like, I'm jealous that you have everything, you're in love, you're all happy. And he's like, oh shit, I slept with her. I might have ruined it. I might have already ruined it.
She doesn't find out.
So it makes a good moment where he's like, I'm a screw up too, but I'm not going to tell all of you I'm a screw up.
It was good.
So I think that's the gift of episode 11. Read it, it's a good episode.
Alright. Oh, who's talking about Cole? Oh, I am. That's right.
It's you, Kelly.
Sorry, I had my phone up to read it. So episode 12, Ashley actually picked the song, and I really like this song. It's really old school.
Yes, I had this song. For those who don't know, I had this song and the title for episode 14 stuck in my head for 3 weeks straight on repeat.
Which is awesome because I love like both songs. Yeah. And 13 too, I love 13. 13's like, anyway. I'm a huge Roswell fan, so anyway. It's a Roswell theme song.
You just wasn't at home.
Huh?
At home.
Okay, I have to get there. So episode 12 was No Air by Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown. And I think Ashley kind of pointed out that it was a good song to use because of what happened with Maddie. And I agree with that. It was kind of like the air was being sucked out of the different family members as they kind of, I guess, came face to face with what was actually going on with Maddie. Like, the entire Devonshire family kind of rallied, and they kind of... I guess rally would be a good way. Anyway, okay. So, scene 1 was Bliss and Oric scene. I really like this scene because Chris did a wonderful job writing it. You kind of see that Oric is, like, really starting to question, like, if he's in over his head now. Like, oh crap, like, I had this huge past in Atlas Falls that's, like, is gonna come to light, and I don't know how to stop that crap, and now, like, Bliss wants to back out. I thought it was a good scene to show that their plan is slowly starting to unravel, and he kind of doesn't know what to do about it. I guess you'd say, right?
Yeah, well, I'm Oric's writer. As you know, Kelly kind of originally wrote him, and then
Sucks. I suck.
Well, now I have a much better hand on him. So I think Oric is starting to get a lot of people's interest. He's starting to pull them because he's kind of dangerous and bad. And I think that's where, and by him being so dangerous and bad, what's happening is Oric is kind of losing his cool, and he's losing his finesse on the situation. You know, Whitney and Danny know he's in town, and now Bliss is saying, I want to get out of this crap. No, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. And it was good for his character. The next scene was Ryan and Arya, and I wrote the scene, and I really liked it. I thought Ryan kind of... This scene was really about... He finds out that Whitney has decided to actually file for divorce, and in the divorce papers, she's actually decided to go after his trust fund. And I thought that was an interesting aspect of playing that scene, was that Ryan is rich. And he's kind of just turned his back on his family and his money for Whitney. And so he's, like, really hurt by it. And I know that readers really like that aspect of the divorce, because the divorce doesn't affect just them. It affects his family. It affects her family. It would affect the band. And I think that's why I liked it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're all silent when I talk.
Well, I mean, yeah, you do learn in further episodes that they do come from two different backgrounds. Ryan is actually
Really
white
stinking. He's like
and
filthy stinking
blue
rich.
collar, and the whole thing with the band getting their deal and everything like that has brought about that each member of the band is getting money now for the signing bonus and everything like that. But then, so they're having to react to this whole new lifestyle they're getting, along with the fact that Whitney and Ryan are
Sort of quasi-divorcing, and that's hard on any band, I think, too. So anyway.
And out of all of them, Ryan is used to the money, the cars, the clothes, all this kind of stuff, but he gave it all up for Whitney. And so...
So romantic. Anyway. And so that was good. The next scene was Casey and John, and I know we had a really good time writing this scene. It was kind of... We really wanted to integrate Casey more into Canvas, because he's a regular now, and When the Wiz was kind of showing... Huh?
He becomes a regular in season 2.
Oh, he's already listed. Oh, is he on recurring right now?
I think
I'll
so.
get that up now.
No, I think he's...
He's actually listed under recurring at the moment.
Okay, that's right, he is recurring. And so, he was one of the new recurring characters that we wanted to bring in at the end of season 1 and bump him to regular in season 2. But we felt it was good that... I liked that we kind of... some of the reviewers have said that they really like our friendships on the show. And fans really like this scene where you kind of get to see John be a friend. And then they're kind of talking about each other's love life, and he kind of mentions that he met this girl, and John's like totally pissed off about it. He's like, really? I've been chasing after mine for like years.
And you just meet this hot chick.
She's a stripper. I thought that was awesome. And he's like, no, she's not a stripper. Anyway, I like their friendship. I thought it was fun, and it was more of a lighter scene for the episode, which I thought was needed. We have a lot of tense moments in this episode.
Yeah, it gets dark, really dark and dismal.
We're so dark and dismal. Anyway,
Simon.
sorry, I have to get to the next one, so I know what we're talking about. Oh, the next one was Simon and Lowell, and I like Simon. He's kind of like Lowell's bitch boy. Go clean this mess up. And Simon's like, okay, oh, and by the way, like, Chauncey and Ophelia are sleeping together. And he's like, I already knew that type thing. And it was good. And then you kind of get a little bit more that Simon has actually been investigating Bliss and Oric's deal in town. He's found this whole, like, file on Bliss, but he can't find anything on Oric. And that was kind of more set up because we want Oric's reveal at the end of the season to be kind of...
Yeah, some twist in there.
It's firework. Anyway. I'm a bad reviewer. I get really excited about things. Anyway. So the next scene was...
Danny.
God, that poor Danny. I put her through so much. Anyway. For me as a writer, I liked writing this scene because I think when anyone hurts you the way Reese hurt her, I think that it's kind of for her in the moment where she realizes I'm, like, really in love with Jackson. I've let all these stupid things come between us, and I think for readers that was the moment that she kind of realized that she's in love with Jackson. And that was kind of, I think, important. And it also was kind of the point where she's like, you know, Oric is not a nice person. And I should probably warn Max about that. But I really hate Max, so I'm not going to actually say that. And I think it created good conflict for her, and I liked writing her and exploring her feelings about the entire mess from that rainstorm and the curve. So it was a good scene. That poor Danny. Anyway.
Listen to music, people. I'm just not randomly dancing.
The next scene was Jackson and Jackie, and I always like writing Jackson and Jackie scenes. I'm a mom to a little boy, and so I can totally write Jackie as, like, Jackson is her favorite child. It's, they have a really special bond together, and Jackson at this point is, like, got full-on guilt for his little, I guess, dalliance one night stand with Greer, and he's like, oh my god, I have to make it up to her. Huh?
How you see it? 1 or 2 night stand.
I call it a one night stand. Anyway. It's not really 2 nights. It was like, they had sex. Anyway. And he, like, by this point, he's feeling pretty dang guilty about it, apparently. And I think for him, this was the moment at the end of the scene, too, where he realizes he's, like, actually in love with Danny, too. Right?
Yeah.
This was, like, the turning point for them in their little relationship. And I guess in Blissful Time, they've been going out for a few months, right? We decided.
Yeah.
So I guess they're kind of at that point where, oh wow, like, I actually really love this person. It's just not like some, how would you call it?
Fling.
Some fling, yeah. I mean, like, they have real feelings for each other. And I thought, and Jackson calls her and she's like, I can't help you right now, blind. She, like, totally freaks out on him because of what's going on with Maddie. And I think this was the scene that the music fit the best. Was that we show that Jackson's really connected to his niece, and he literally feels like the air leaves his lungs when he hears about his niece. Does that make sense? Is that correct? Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong.
Okay, am I wrong?
You're not talking for me. We discussed this.
And then he texts Danny, and I thought it was awesome that you kind of had his feelings come out in a text, because that's totally a guy thing to do, just so that you know.
Yeah, we can't say I love you when.
But you can totally, like, count on that person to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, it was a great scene, and I loved writing it, and I like Jackson and Jackie's relationship. It's probably one of my favorite mother-son relationships on the show.
This is my favorite thing.
Oh yes, I love this scene. I may have to laugh through it. Okay. So we wrote this scene, and it's Oric and Whitney's scene, and I love this scene for so many reasons. Whitney is such a bitch to him. And I guess Whitney kind of reminds me of that snarky best friend you have who's, like, totally has your back all the time. And I think Dan mentioned my husband, when he read it, he laughed so hard when she made the joke about Art's private parts. It was like the highlight. I know when Daddy left you, there was this much anyway. I thought it was awesome and totally kosher. And I liked at the end of the scene we really played up on flowing into the next scene, that Max really kind of had that whole new ballgame come back. I think that was kind of the moment the feud restarted.
Yeah.
For Max and Whitney. She's like, what the hell is Whitney doing here? She belongs on like the other side of town. Doesn't she freaking know her place? And I thought,
why is she with my RA?
yeah, it's like, why is she around the man who's been sniffing around me? And I think it brought up like all these insecurities again for Max with her relationship with her, and that she still hates Whitney. And I thought, for Max, I thought it was a what?
And Whitney still hates
And
her?
they still hate each other, and I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic to play, considering the other thing with her best friend dating Max's brother now, and it's going to be fun, and that's one of the feuds I thought that we should really touch on, like Chris said, in other stories, is that history plays a huge important part in our show, and we just can't resist revisiting it.
Over and over and over again.
And I like this scene. I like the scene after that. It was Max. Max really got her, I guess, moment to shine. I don't like writing bitches, but I like writing Max. She's still like, anyway. And I thought, for her, it was a good self-reflection that, yeah, she's an adult now, but she's still not over that whole Whitney crap.
Yeah.
And it was good for her character. So, that was that. And then the next scene. Sorry.
This is a good thing.
I love this scene. It was Ashley's birth scene on my show. Anyway. You're really excited about this. You guys are laughing at me. Don't laugh. Anyway, so you have Jackie and Max, and I like, why do we have that?
Patrick decided to come give us his input again.
I like, and I was talking to Chris and Ashley about this, I really like that we really set up Jackie and Lowell as, like, the patriarchs of their family. And they're kind of the voice of reason to their kids, and, why is there paper in my nut crusher? I don't know, John.
Hey, you skipped some.
What?
Some.
No, I didn't, did I?
Yeah, you skipped Chauncey and Simon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll go back, because I love writing asshole Chauncey.
Rewind just a little bit.
So, before we get to the Jackie and Max and Rory scene, I'll do my excitement for that again, but, we got into Chauncey and Simon scene. I really like Chauncey. Everyone knows this. He's like my asshole that I love to write. And so I like that he kind of pretty much threatened Simon of, you're going to go find out what this B agency crap is all about and get me over so I can set Anderson up for failure and demise. And I like that we showed Chauncey is kind of like his daddy in that he'll do anything he has to win. And I think I liked it. Simon's a recurring character that Chris and I kind of both wrote, and then I kind of took him over, and I like writing him. He's my quirky, badass cleaner. Anyway,
he's a fixer.
He's a fixer. And I thought it was interesting that Chauncey, I think, is dealing with the whole Maddie thing, and he's just, and he's like totally like, wow, my dad put me in my place about my affair with Ophelia. Crap, is he gonna tell my mother? And yeah, I like when Lowell's a boss and he can just do that by looking at his kid. And so, yeah, it was a good scene for setup to the next scene, which Ashley will talk about in the next episode. And at the end of the scene, I really like that Jackie kind of told Max, it's totally wrong of you to even be sniffing around Oric while you're still married to the Hunter, you're going to end it. And I think for a moment in time, at that moment with the crisis at the hospital, Max is like, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll do it because you're my mother, and if not, you're going to beat my ass. But I think Max and Hunter, I think we've kind of touched on it. They're the couple that you want to end because they're so toxic for each other in a way. Does that make sense?
What?
Max and Hunter are the couple that you kind of can't root for because they're so toxic to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
they're better off friends than they are lovers. Though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we explore that more. Then Rory comes on. And I love Rory.
Oh God, we love Rory.
Ashley did such a wonderful job with this. Please go away, cat. Kid, you're in my way. Here, how about you play the floor with it? Even better. Go make a mess. No. Oh, I went to lid. Okay. And I thought Rory coming on, and he really is like just caring to his mom, and he's like our sweet Devonshire boy, right?
He is.
He's like
Yeah.
a little
He is.
sweetheart, and I love that about him.
Rory has his moments too.
Not
Rory
yet.
has his moments, I believe, too.
Anyway, yes.
I think he's more to take charge. The one that actually does, no matter how much his father doesn't think he's ready for it, he's the one that wants.
Yes, he's the one that wants the company, and I think that's awesome. Anyway. And I like that at the end, Jackie totally, like, doesn't focus on Maddie. He's like, how's your date with Arya, by the way? Because, you know.
I know about that.
By the way, me and Gloria are, like, best friends, and we've been, like, wanting our kids to get together forever, so how was your date? And I just think it was a wonderful way to end the episode on a light note, where if she worries about Maddie too much, she'd probably, like, break down and cry, just because it's her granddaughter, and I think her focusing in on what's going...
grandchild, too.
Huh? And her first...
grandchild.
Oh, sort of. They don't know about the other one. Anyway. It is her first. Anyway.
Yeah,
first
do I know?
Not the great-grandson, but anyway. And I think it was a good way to end the episode, because it was so heavy before that we kind of ended on a lighter note of, oh, how was your date? And I think Ashley played it so well that he's like, oh, let's focus on Maddie. And she's like, no, let's talk about your love life. And as a mother, my mom used to do that all the time. Even when I would date someone, I'm like, Mom, get over it.
Yeah.
But I like Jackie as the meddling little, I'm going to be sure my kids are happy type mom. Anyway. And that would be episode 12.
Yay.
And Ashley can talk about the next one.
Episode 13, Here With Me. I don't exactly remember where I came up with the...
It's an awesome song!
Kelly already freaked out when I suggested it, though.
It's so beautiful! Anyway.
For Roswell, but,
It's so beautiful. Anyway.
Let's see, we had Devin and Ophelia. Devin is actually coming to talk with Ophelia to try and possibly work things out with her. And of course, she once again loses it, and, you know,
He's like, you need to go see
she
someone.
flips her lid. He loses his temper, and she calls security and has him lovingly escorted out of her office so she doesn't have to deal with him anymore, because she's done with him and she just wants him gone. Her plans obviously are to move on with Chauncey.
Of course.
The next scene was Max and Logan. And it was a sweet scene. You see Max actually coming in. Logan is obviously one of her best friends since diapers or somewhere around that age.
The Jensen, they've been friends since diapers.
Yeah, the Jensens and the Devonshires, you come to learn over season 1 and into season 2 that they have been connected for forever. But it's a sweet scene. You got Max coming and taking care of her sister-in-law who went home to get some rest. And they talk and just, you know, just discussing what's going on and the fact that, you know, dealing with everything from the fallout of the family finding out about Maddie being sick. And the next...
Oh, they have a really good moment in that.
They get Gabby.
They have a really good moment. Is when they talk about Danny. It's hilarious.
Oh, of course. I mean, there's the whole... You've got the whole...
Danny the Manny of Catherine.
The clique, as we have been referring to Logan, Max, Kat, and another friend who's not on canvas yet. They were known as the clique. They were the Queen Bees, the mean girls of high school, up against little bitty Whitney and Danny and the whole I hate you, we hate them, let's just destroy them. Make sure they don't get happiness. Scene 3 had Simon and Greer butting heads. A little verbal showdown with Simon throwing out some threats of his own.
And Greer got the last word.
Here, put him back in.
Of course, at this same time, Simon also does Chauncey's bidding and hires
You get a hooker?
one of Greer's girls to trick Anderson into bed and have her naughty little way with him.
On camera. Anyway, it was a fun little scene.
Jackson and Danny, first time they actually tell each other they love each other. It's touching. Coming to visit the hospital, go check on Maddie. Hopefully not have any fights or anything like that with siblings. Jackson goes and has a conversation with Jackie while Danny is left with...
No, she's in Maddie's room.
Yeah, she's in Maddie.
She's Skyping Dylan and Maddie together because they're destined to be together too.
Danny goes to go visit with Maddie and let her Skype with Dylan since they're
friends.
best friends. Cute little couple that'll probably happen. Maybe.
That'll probably
They're
happen.
only like 8 and 9. We gotta give them some time to get old enough. But spoilers. You never know what's happening. But
Kelly.
at the same time, Jackson and Jackie are having a conversation, and Jackie actually does touch on some extra history between the Devonshires and the Frasers. Doesn't come right out and tell Jackson about it, but she does kind of touch on it a little bit. The next scene is where we actually have Shiloh Green, Whitney's older sister, who has been living in Boston for
Long time.
She's been living there for years. She actually left right after high school. So I'm going to say she's probably been gone about 15 years, coming back to visit, check up on her family every once in a while. But she's been in Boston working as a lawyer for the past, since finishing college. And she's not mentioned by name, but she is the one that looked over the contracts for Glory Road before they actually signed with Inferno Records. But now she's coming to town, and she's actually going to be in town for a while because of Whitney filing for divorce on Ryan and going after that lovely trust fund. She's got to take care of baby sister, make sure baby sister's taken care of course.
Oh, how cynical she is. Anyway, that was a good one.
Anderson and Chauncey. Anderson actually comes to the hospital to meet with Chauncey because Chauncey is not wanting to leave Maddie alone for a minute.
Duh.
Of course,
He may be an asshole, but he's a dad.
He's got to make sure his baby girl's okay, and they call a ceasefire.
Sort
Of course, they trade a couple of verbal spars back and forth throughout the conversation, but basically they're calling for, let's not just sling all this mud. Let's kind of keep it clean the rest of this election.
Little does Anderson know.
Or at least until Maddie's better. And of course, Anderson doesn't know that Chauncey has already called Simon and is basically going to set him up.
The next scene is my favorite scene of the episode.
It was a pretty good episode. Yes, it was a good scene.
Then we have Oric and small little scene between Oric and Bliss. Bliss is actually breaking into Oric's apartment, condo, hotel room, whichever it is. I think it's a condo, I can't remember. But
Yeah.
Bliss actually gets to practice her
B&E skills. Her B&E skills.
Her B&E skills, yeah. Breaks in. She finds out a little bit more on Oric, on who he really is, when she swipes his hard drive and finds some IDs, some passports with not only the name she's come to know him as, Oric Savage, but also Reese Malatov, and a third identification that she's never heard of.
She doesn't say.
No, she doesn't, and she doesn't reveal what the third ID is, but she, she's just kind of perplexed by it. And then she runs to KC's trying to think things through. And
Yeah.
Kids, he's drunk and wasted. It was an awesome scene. I love their little phone scene. Please don't strip on me for the phone again. Such a guy thing. Anyway. Just saying.
okay, we have Auric. Oh, no, excuse me, not Auric. I'm looking at the wrong one. Jackson, Chauncey, and Rory. Chauncey has finished his discussion with Anderson, who has left the hospital, thankfully, and has come out to the waiting room where Jackson and Rory have come together, and they're all sitting around just talking, trying to catch up on each other's lives, trying to kind of distract Chauncey from the whole fact that Maddie's sick. And eventually it turns into a knockdown, drag-out fight between... No. Chauncey and Jackson aren't going to be cat fight. That's more punches. That's skin on
That's
skin.
true. It was not really cat fight with him.
And of course, Rory, being the baby brother, has to get in the middle of everything and try and break it up. Lowell catches on at the end and, tries
He gives
to
him a very patriarch.
pop him on the back of the head, both of them,
Yeah, he gives him a very patriarch. You're my boy. You're all
Stop
my
it!
boy.
Stop it! Good scene.
Of course, Lowell has to, at that time, also gets called away and has to step out, and hopefully Rory can manage to referee his two big brothers for a little while longer while Lowell steps out of the private conference room and talks with Devin and John. Devin and John to figure out who it is that is setting Lowell up for the murder of, it's not Tess.
Jessica? Yes.
Jessica, Tess's twin sister from 20-something odd years in the past.
28 to be exact.
28 years. It's younger than all of us. Okay, I got it.
Well, I'm 26. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's younger than me and Kelly.
I won't mention how old I am. So.
But finally figure out who has set up. Kelly tells us all how old she's going to be this year.
Yep.
But try and finally solve this murder mystery, figure out who killed Jessica and has set Lowell up for this, and they are going to set a trap.
And I love that John hates Lowell. I love
John
their...
has a big hate on Lowell moment.
He usually has a whole, hate on the Devonshire moment, but anyway.
Of course.
It's Game of Devonshire.
And to wrap up the episode, Logan actually comes out and says she doesn't know who her baby daddy is. Who is Maddie's daddy? Is it Jackson or is it Chauncey?
Yay! And it was...
Or is it neither?
No.
Or is it neither?
Hey.
At least she's that big of a skink.
I love it
Because
when
she
they
doesn't
do
know.
that.
She hasn't counted the days and all that kind of stuff. She forgot to look at her little planner and go, I'm this late and I slept with them around this time. Yeah.
Anyway, it was a good episode.
Yeah.
It really was. It was an episode to write all around.
What are we on next on the blog?
Spoilers!
You realize we're 2 hours into it.
Well, no. We had 30 minutes. We had 40 minutes before we started.
Yeah, we did talk for a little bit, but.
Oh, that's true, I guess. Okay.
Anyway, spoilers.
I'll go first and we can all go around.
Okay.
I can spoil with my little eye
You
that,
don't want me to spoil?
oh God.
Just
No, because you tell everything.
She's gonna tell storyline.
Go, Chris.
I can spoil that someone is pregnant.
True.
True. No, God.
Not
think about
true.
it. I'll tell the kid's name. Cece. Okay. Kelly, you can go.
No, I'll tell everything.
No, you can give a spoiler without telling everything.
I don't know.
Give some juice.
Huh?
Give some juice.
Give some juice. There's gonna be a huge party coming up. No, it's gonna get messy.
That was
Huh? It's gonna get
That was
messy.
easy. Ashley, we all give one spoiler.
Someone who's in town, recently returned, is going to stir up a whole lot of trouble.
Oh God, y'all bad at spoilers.
Okay, Chris, you do the other. You just do the spoilers.
Okay. Catherine is aiming for something because I'm pretty sure they all know that Catherine is the one who's talking about. Catherine is aiming for a return in Jackson's life, and she'll do anything to get it. And the big party is Inferno Records' label party. And let's just say a major couple is going to have sex, and something really tragic is going to happen at the end of that party.
It's actually like episode after the party.
Well,
I'll get technical.
thank you.
I like flow. Anyway, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Just know that this party is going to have a lot of explosive moments. Jackson women are all going to kind of get,
Patty.
and that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, guys. Ashley, Kelly, if you don't know. We are all about to say goodbye. Pat, wait.
I don't know what you want. Stop.
Pat,
Say bye.
say bye-bye. Hey.
You're so cute.
That's my little dude.
Bye.
All right.